Alright everyone, this has to be the biggest dev diary we've ever had. Trailmakers 2.0, and it's the new blocks. They're showcasing the new blocks. So they've released a 1-minute video here just showcasing everything. Let's just get into it. Okay, there is a lot to unpack there. So from that video, it's quite evident that this is a glimpse into Trailmakers 2.0 and what it's actually going to look like. And it has been confirmed that it is a new campaign. So my suspicions were correct. We are getting a new campaign, and clearly it's some kind of combat-based / resource-based campaign where we're getting new blocks like the mining thing. That mining block where you can mine down the rocks is so cool. And of course, new weapons, guys. New freaking weapons. So there is actually a lot to unpack here. So I'm actually fortunate enough to get one of my staff members to actually send me some images of the blocks, the new blocks. Only the new blocks though, just before anybody asks. I'm only showcasing the stuff that has been revealed from the dev diary. And I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail, because I actually did watch the dev diary, on how the mining block will work and how some of the specific weapons will work. But first, let's check out these images. Alright, here we have the first image that my staff member has sent me. And this is an overview of all of the blocks we're getting. Well, actually, there are a few things that they haven't revealed yet. So all of the blocks that has been revealed in this week's dev diary. So there is 25 new blocks here. Not this one. We have this one already. I asked him to put a 2x4 in there for reference for sizes. So this light blue one we already have. So we can get a good look at the size here. But there is 25 other than this new blocks to look at. So I guess I'm just going to start off with these two that I actually saw last week in last week's dev diary review. So these ones got leaked. The 2x2x1 and the 4x4x1. But this block we haven't seen yet. It seems to be a 6x2, which is just nice to have in the game. Yeah, just a longer block option. Bigger blocks make things more complexity efficient. So just having this is more than welcome. So next up, we have these blocks, which are pretty interesting. These blocks are panel blocks. So they are 6x6 in size. And essentially, they're just like big detail blocks for you. So if you're making spaceships or whatever vehicle you need that needs these specific blocks, they can add a lot of detail and shape to your build. And of course, they're more than welcome in Trailmakers. They look really nice, actually. I can imagine a few builds I would use these for. Especially this one with the vents. This one's really detailed. This one's more like a hatch. And this one's just a smooth variant of this with less details. If you wanted less details, we have this one, which is sweet. So yeah, 3 brand new panel pieces that are more than welcome. All right, next. This is something I'm kind of more hyped for. And this is the brand new like windshield pieces here, or wedge pieces. They kind of will work both ways. This one has been leaked. This one was another one Johannes forgot to hide, so we knew that this one was coming. So this one, if I can get a better angle, you can see here how this one will look. And it's just like a more straight wedge version of one of these, and also shorter. Here we have this piece. Now, I don't know the names of most of these blocks, so I'm just gonna call it from how I see it, but kind of like a windshield, like a really thin windshield, maybe 4 blocks across. And then we have this kind of sloped wedge thing here. Again, another block that'll be really handy for shaping builds. And then we have these two pieces. These are like quarter cones. So essentially, you can put 4 of these together to make a cone. And these are going to be handy to fill in a few gaps that we've had with a previous block, which was like the bigger quarter cone block without any pointy tip. These are the pointy tips. So we're getting the pointy tips for those big cones. And yeah, these aren't like triangle, like a pyramid. These are actually rounded. I know it's hard to see here, but these are rounded pieces, just like how this side here on this would be rounded. And again, it's just one of those blocks they're giving us that fills in a gap that we've had. Oh, here we go. Here's another closer look. Yeah, you can see how they are cornered here and are very pointy, in fact. I think a lot of fighter jet builders will use these. These are very cool. Okay, moving on to the next image, we have these 2 pieces. Before we talk about the seat, I really want to talk about these 2 pieces because I have been wanting this block in Trailmakers for so long. So in a previous update, we had a new like rounded wedge piece added to the game, and it was a 1x2 version of this. However, we didn't get the 2x4 variant, and I don't know, I never knew why they didn't add that, but now we're actually getting it. We're getting the new sloped wedge piece as a 2x4, so that saves on complexity and is super handy. And plus, you don't have those annoying like bevels when you do individual pieces, you know. This one's just nice and smooth. And we also have this piece, which is a corner version. Super sweet. And of course, we have the NPC chair. This doesn't actually hold chirpos. So if you didn't know already, Airborne DLC or the Airborne campaign had a new passenger seat where you could carry around chirpos to deliver them to safe places for that campaign's story. But this one has been confirmed that it isn't for chirpos and that we're getting new NPCs in this campaign. And this just looks more like a human chair. You know what I mean? The other passenger seat felt more like a box where the chirpos could sit in. This actually looks like an NPC could have legs for this. So maybe we're just getting some human character NPCs in the new campaign. I don't know. Hasn't been confirmed, but that's just my theory. But again, a really cool looking seat. All right, moving on to the wheel. We got a new wheel, guys. This is the, I think it's called the standard car wheel or something like that. And it's essentially a more nicer looking motorcycle wheel because it is one across and it's just super detailed. Again, with this middle section, it is actually clipping into the ground here. That's fine. You can just imagine the rest of it. But we got like a chrome middle here, which is the connection. And then this area is very detailed. And of course, you can use a secondary color, I believe, to change this like detail on the tire, these orange arrows. So primary color here, blue, secondary color, orange. Very nice wheel, and obviously it's going to get used a lot. I wonder if it has like the same traction as the motorcycle wheel though. Now we are moving officially onto like the really cool pieces now. So here we have 3 brand new light pieces, and they can actually be colored. And I can just see these being used everywhere. These are so cool because having lights that you can actually change the color of is awesome. So we have this light, which is, it's like a more straight kind of edge here. Has a little cutout in the corner. I'm pretty sure these lights will behave like any other light. You'll be able to just turn on and off the light with, you know, a keybind and probably toggle it as well. We got this middle one, which is kind of like the first one we just looked at, but more rounded. Kind of looks like more tubey and more like a pipe piece. And then, of course, we have this one, which is a big cutout of this shape here. Just a big wedge here, and the lights are like circle panels. So you have different options here, so that is awesome. It's nice to get lights in this game. These can be used for pretty much anything. I've got some pretty cool ideas I want to use these for when we get Trailmakers 2.0. But yeah, those are the lights. Okay, here we go. The moment you have been waiting for. The weapons and gadgets. All right, first things first, before we get into the actual weapons, let's get into this shield. So this is a new energy shield. It's actually a small energy shield. It has a smaller radius on the energy shield that's being emitted. And it's also diagonal, which we haven't seen before. Whereas with the original energy shield that we got in Spacebound 1.7, you know, obviously that shield is kind of just horizontal. So a diagonal shield just to fill in those gaps where you couldn't really cover them before. Sweet. Again, just an extra option that we kind of need, to be honest. And it's really making me think we're going to have some crazy combat in this new campaign. All right, let's get into the weapons. So this first one is the EMP. This is actually an EMP. Yes, that's correct. And now I know you're thinking, we already have an EMP in the game. Of course we do. But the idea with this campaign is that we have long-range weapons and short-range weapons. So this essentially is a small version of the EMP, just like a mini version. And I can imagine that this will cost less resources to have on your build. For example, less power cores and less weight. And the targeting range for the aim assist will be a lot shorter too. Alright, this next weapon we have is a shotgun. Yes, we are finally getting a shotgun weapon in Trailmakers. So I'm guessing this will have a short range lock-on just like the EMP, but essentially it just has big bullet spread. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. This big boy. This is the grenade launcher. So essentially, this is the shotgun. It kind of behaves like the shotgun would fire, but its rounds are explosive. So there's a lot of bullet drop. Obviously, they're grenades, but when it shoots them all out at once. Does a lot of damage, and it looks amazing. Out of all the weapons they could possibly add, I didn't think they'd add a grenade launcher. But we're getting one. And again, this is gonna be amazing for combat in Trailmakers in every aspect. A truly welcome addition to the weapons category. And then finally, we have the submachine gun, which is essentially a small minigun with shorter range. I really like the way this gun sounds from the video we saw. Really feels like a proper rapid fire weapon. And it's kind of weird, don't you think, how a minigun is called a minigun, even though it's massive? And this machine gun, the submachine gun, this is actually the mini thing here. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, these are awesome weapons. So I think they're going to nail home like close range combat. I think that's what they're trying to do with this update here. I don't know what the battles are going to be like or what we're going to need weapons for essentially, but yeah, they're really nailing home that we're needing closer range. We gotta be closer for these battles. And finally, we have the mining blocks. So there was a lot of questions with these blocks in the live stream of the Dev Diary. And when these things fire, they have these really cool like magnetic field effects. Like this green thing or shimmer on the screen to indicate that you're using the gadget. I'm not going to call this a weapon because it has been confirmed it is not a weapon. So if anyone thinks this is some kind of melee weapon that they could potentially do or just something that damages blocks, I'm going to tell you now that it does not damage blocks. This is only for damaging or collecting resources in the terrain of the new campaign map. So like the rocks, like we saw in the video. Just before you get ahead of yourselves, guys, this cannot damage other blocks. So you can't mine another player. We have weapons for that. You know, if you want to damage another player, we have weapons. So this one is a big version, which I guess will have a bigger range for collecting rocks and stuff and mining. And this one is the smaller one. I'm guessing this is the one you start out with before you upgrade to this big one. And this will obviously have less range and stuff. But yeah, those are the mining blocks. And there we have it. That is all 25 blocks that have been revealed this week. There are a few more things I want to talk about, and that is the new HUD display that they kind of showed off. And also, they've redone a bunch of symbols in the GUI for the builders menu. And that's because everything is still in the works. You just got to take things with a grain of salt with this, because they could change something at the last minute and, you know, you won't even realize. Oh yeah, and the best news of all, every single block that has been revealed today is free. It's all going to be free, provided that you actually have the base game. So it's not a DLC. Of course, if you want to see the blocks that have been showcased in more action, definitely go check out the VOD of the stream. They did. I'll leave a link in the description. Shout out to Yzuei, one of my staff members, for helping me with the images. And remember, guys, stay tuned for next Thursday, because that's when the Dev Diaries release. So subscribe, because we're going to stay updated, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!